Hello and welcome. Welcome to tonight's match. We are lucky enough to have a semi-final of two very good players, and it will be a Lizard mirror match between Snowtroll and Zenjo. You will just have to listen to me tonight. So if you are in chat, please type in chat, and I will. Otherwise, I will start to have a schizophrenic Discord with myself, and it might not be as enjoyable to listen to as if it's you guys and your input. So I really hope that some of you will have questions or comments or whatever. Hello, Edward. Um, so we have 10 minutes before match start, and I'll just give a brief, shortly introduction for those. I agree with you, Little Wing. I think for those who are not aware, FA Cup is a side tournament. It's sort of like muddled of the FA Cup in England and the football. So where all divisions get to play all divisions. For us to do the same here, we have arranged it so that it is friendly matches, so that there is no harm done to the actual teams, so it doesn't interfere with the main league. But other than that, and that is also, I think, sort of key important for today's match because Snowtroll is actually playing in Prem, which is the highest division, and Zenjo is actually from Baron Hill, which is I think third tier. So there is actually quite a difference there. That also means like you can see a slight difference in, I would say, in age of the two teams. I am a bit surprised that it is also two very different approaches to sort of building Lizardmen teams. If we take Snowtrolls, there is a heavier emphasis on the skinks, and we have a few Sauruses to do the big brunt of the work, and a youngling Coxigore, and from the naming of it, I would suspect that is because the other one has left the mortal coil quite a few times. But his does have seemed to have survived the season without dying, so that's always a good thing. And Sentio is more or less the reverse, which is that the skink doesn't have so much except for one super skink, and there's a more focus on the Croxigores and Sauruses. I think it will be interesting to see what ends up working best. And of course, there's also a slight difference in a slightly deeper bench for Snowtroll, which might become relevant. And Zenjo, because of inducement, has opted to take some kegs and a assistant coach to fill in for the last bit of gap there is between the two team values. So I think purely from looking at the two rosters, I think it should be a very interesting close match. Like free rolls each and close builds. So I think actually these are the semifinals, Mark. So whoever wins this match will go into the final and face off against some horrible orcs and will be the FA Cup winner. So I'm a little bit torn here because on one hand I want Snowtroll to win because he's from Prem West, just like me, and Prem West is best, as we all know. On the other hand, I also have a soft spot for the underdog and Zenjo being from Barren Hills and definitely has my heart in that regard. Not taking top levels. I am not sure what you mean by that, Mark. This is the. Are you referring to? You're not top. So this is their actual teams as they are right now in the main league, and for us to have overtime. Oh yeah. They have the option to have pick skills for this, but they have to do that on their main team. So these are clones of their main team that will be playing tonight in this matchup. So these are their actual team rosters. If we swap into, I can show from the in-game client here in a second, 2 seconds. If I go back after so many windows, so little brain capacity here. Go in here, should be able to see the schedule. So because friendlies don't allow for overtime, which is really annoying. Thank you, Cyanide, for that one. The only way that we can actually get to have play overtime is that we have made clones of their teams, and as in custom teams, added the same skills, added the same injuries and so on, so that they can actually play against each other. But with the teams that are their actual teams, which is the one from the slide, they have star player points, which they could theoretically have spent. But if doing so, they would need to do it on their real team, as these are just replicates. So they could have bought skills, but there is, this being at the end of the season, a hard cap of 1400 close around the corner. I think that might also factor into what choices are being made in regards to skills and stuff like that. I would be suspecting that there is a reluctance to burn too many star player points at this point in the season. This is, at least also from my point of view, what I'm doing with my team. So I'm suspecting that I might not be the only one thinking that. But it makes from some interesting choices here. Like, do you get the perk for the last couple of rounds, or do you just go for conserving them and then having a stronger team at the start of next season? And Snowtroll is potentially still in the running for making it to the playoffs. So I think that is also a factor in it. I must admit, I don't remember Zenjo's place in his. I'll just go and check. Zenjo in Baron Hills, what his ranking is, because if you are at the top of the, you're probably gonna try to sounds sort of mid-table. Then you probably could start to conserve for next season. He's not gonna end in the top spot. So he will. Baron Hills usually have a lot of players moving up to higher tiers, so there's a good chance you'll still be moving up. But at this point, you will probably start to conserve more than you would if you were in a tight neck and neck race about your positionings. At least this is what seems to have been seen in the past. So that's sort of the format. That also means that we will probably see a little bit more of an aggressive use of the apocs for this match. And with the third half, there's also some, let's call it extra math in when do you use your rerolls in second half, because they don't come back. And being a mirror match, I think odds of a third half is going to be high. At least that's my predictions. I'd be very interested in hearing what you guys think is going to be the end result here. I think it was Phil who jokingly said that he's predicting that there will be a Lizardmen in the final, and I would have to agree with him on that one. But yeah, I think also it will be a team with a skink on it, but I could be wrong. Oh. 2-1 after overtime. I think that's a reasonable bit for I think most likely we'll see a touchdown in each drive, and then it will basically come down to the flip of overtime who gets to receive. Unless Nuffle decides to start doing some magic with the removals or trip skulls or something like that. I think there's a good chance of that. Yeah, of course we have to. Oh. That, I was not aware of that. That is actually a bit funny. So Snowtroll is apparently the big guy of the division, the Zenjo is that's I don't know if that's a sense of pre-game bribing in one way or the other, but that would definitely be interesting to see. So hopefully in a second here we'll see the match appear on our list. I'm just checking the Discord to see if they are getting ready. I can't type it in talking at the same time here, so. Cool. So, yeah, Little Wing. I think that's definitely a good idea. So, what do you think? No, Zenjo. You should probably just be all of a sudden have all sorts of admin rulings going against you for no particular reason. Probably why. For no reason at all. Definitely. No, I would be very surprised if that was to happen. Let's see here for the updates. No replays. Live. So, yeah, we're just waiting for the start of the match. Let's see. I think I might give Snowtroll a small, more likely, like purely on the build side, and it's because I think it will probably come down to that the Skinks needs to be doing the most work anyway at the end of the day. You need, of course, some Sources to be able to do some of the lifting, but he still has some functional teams, players, stuff like that. But I'm just inclined to think that the weight, so to speak, of having those more options with the Skink to fill in the gap. The only counter to that I was going to say is I'm curious to see if that fouling aspect of the game, because one dirty player, like if we get a bribe the ref sort of start, I'm slightly concerned what that will do to the match. But yeah, they both have, like, it would be very crucial if neither team had a tackled mighty blow piece to remove those kings with, but they have that. A little bit of guard, a few blocks. Cox with block is of course really nice. The broken arm value is not so nice. Super Skink versus Super Skink. Like this, just with sidestep, that would more or less be made a guarantee one turner, but without the sidestep, it gets a little bit more iffy, but still doable, and the 2+ does definitely help. The support skills are there, but that 1 in 9 to catch the ball, best case scenario, right? But this has definitely easier time getting from the touchdown line to scoring. So just double checking here if the match is about to start. Still not started. A little surprised. Well, this being a British league, might be off getting a cup of tea before they start connecting. You never know. Or they're busy in chat. So yeah. But at least I hope that it's gonna be a good match and not one of those matches where Nuffle just decides like, let's make 3 removals on the skirmish line turn 1, and then it's just like, yeah, it sort of ruins the strategy of much of the game and it becomes a question of survival. Snowtroll and Zenjo, are you spinning or are you just drinking tea? Well, so I'm from Denmark. I lived in Ireland for 3 years and worked in England for half a year. You are playing. That just means that the thing did not update in here. I love that when it doesn't happen. Yeah, great. I have never had so many cup of teas as that. So now we have to do a little bit of catching up here. It appears that definitely Zenjo is receiving and started off. Whether that's by choice or a choice made for him, I do not know. Normal weather, it seems. Let's just check here. Normal weather. Kept the dirty player offline. The 1 turn offline. What is to be expected. Soft commitment to the front line. Since skinks are a danger to go anywhere, right? We need to protect the flanks. So far seems to have been rewarded for powers on all instances, though no armor breaks. Yeah. Nice start. Solid start. We're gonna be seeing Super Skink picking up the ball. I'm gonna do a foul turn 1. That is cheeky. Cheeky, cheeky, cheeky. And before picking up the ball, that is ballsy. And Nuffle goes, I love it, and rewards with a KO. And no send off player, and even get to pick up the ball. That is, at least it's a baby Saurus, so it's not a crucial piece. Though definitely a nice opening there. Wonder what the retaliation will be here in a second. Nice screening. We definitely apparently wanted to be dancing with the clocks. Question is, I'm gonna go for a blitz on the. Yeah.
Oh dear. I hope that player has written a will.
Alpha is picking sides at the moment here, it feels like. But I think it's the right choice. Yeah, I think those skinks are definitely the weak spot here. So whatever can kill them is going to be hunted. Yeah, it's a shame that they turned in for a push for Snowtroll. We are covering the skinks, leaving a bit of a gap here. Not enough to go through, but goes down, as they love to say, like a sack of potatoes. Talking about national stereotypes of Ireland. Anyways, yeah. Goes for the Crocs block. That's second interesting choice. Wonder if we'll see a come to Jesus moment here for the Saurus. Doesn't appear so. So this being, wow, a naked block.
Push the stronger player back.
Interesting. And we are hunting skinks. Well, he didn't want to put someone down and he doesn't want to go down. Oh, that is this time not in Zenjo's probably column of what he would have liked to have seen. Yeah, it's probably going to be a foul on this one. We're going to try that probably. Though it will expose the bolt holder quite a bit. Because that is going to be a fragile. Wow, and Nuffle is definitely rewarding the dirty play here. 2 removals in 2 turns. That's that is some serious attrition. The APOC, however, does what he is supposed to do. But now Snowtroll is missing 2 baby Sauruses from turn 2 off on the field. That is problematic, to say the least. Yeah. Definitely Zenjo off to a good start on the attrition front here. Try to take the baby Saurus over here. Yep. He might see the... No? No? I would have foreseen a boot in his near future. I could be wrong. Yeah, block there. No. The dice just keeps doing the magic, right? But that's a break here. Huh. Stop. Okay. Wow. There's a bit of a cop out there. Are those 4 gonna take a boot to the Babysaurus? They can't go over here. You're probably gonna leave this Crocs just in place.
What's that player doing?
Whoop, another removal, it seems. Nuffle sure does not like Babysauruses today. Wow. Yeah. Do you reroll that? No, you don't. You? No. You just eat it. Wow. Those sneaky skinks are definitely doing their darnest to keep this a fair fight. Yeah, that's actually quite important for what you want to do. Like your most important source is down. This has turned into basically a war of attrition with very little focus on scoring, which is... Yeah, I'm like... The problem with this, Mark, and I think you're very right, is sort of like... If one of them comes down to very few sources, like as soon you get like 2 versus 1 or 3 versus 2, it's gonna make such a huge difference that it's gonna be more or less. Okay, we do not like sources. We do not like baby sources at all. Apparently, it is not a day to be a baby source. However, I am Seeing a boot to this fella's face in a second. Yeah, it feels like armor by its head has been turned off. Or reversed. Yeah. We have completely given up on the Saurus on the right here. I'm not sure that's the right call. Definitely be interesting to see if Nuffle feels differently about skilled sources or if it's only a paper source thing. But this is definitely getting bloody. What are we up to? That's 4 sources down already. Yeah, I think I would have protected this one. Also because it's my only tackle piece. Yeah. I think this is okay. I might have gone for this one, but potato. Make some soft pressure on the ball carrier and friends, right? No. Wow. Do we go in apparently? Do you like this? And no. Wow. I am surprised that we did not see a boot to this one. This I am okay with. It's a 2+. Don't like him being free, but like it's a 2+ to get rid of. I like it pounce. But I am surprised that there's no boot to this guy. Well. Seems like it's only the baby sources who get hurt here. So far. Are you gonna fall? Yeah. Oh, interesting. Could be interesting to see if we're gonna take a. We're gonna take a Crocs and Crocs more here. This guy definitely needs to get off his feet. Super Skink on the move. Interesting. Sort of split up your team like this. Especially before, like, are we blitzing with the Crocs here? Yeah, it must be. Like, are we blitzing in here or? Nope. We're taking on it on the outside. We get the POW. That frees up some skinks. We're gonna be greedy and sneaky and try to put him on the boot on the Saurus. No, sorry, the Cox. It would definitely be greedy. I think one needs to come over here and protect. I have 2 Sauruses and a Crocs away from your team. I'm not a huge fan, I will admit. It might be the right call. I'm just not a huge fan. Question is, do you take just to get rid of that one? That one? Is this the turn where he needs to do a little bit of work? Yep.
A prone player is a dead player.
Yep. Yep. Liking it so far. Yeah. Oh.
That player is as slippery as an eel, but not quite as cuddly.
Well, it's easy to sit here now and after say, like, you should have brought a skink in for a third dice, right? But it's a 75% chance. You sort of assume that it's going to go okay. But the problem is if you attack it, yeah, you're never going to get rid of that one. Now you need to start screening with skinks, which is not really where you want to be. I like this zigzag pattern defense here. You are committed. You more or less have to go this way now, right? Like, we turn 5. Going in here is too pushed. You more or less have to go this way. Again with the 2 dice. Get the power this time, or it's a stumble, and with the tackle clears it. Down, and definitely armor break and a removal.
Bugs bite. Really, don't let them. They're massive and can take your
So,
hand right off.
if you notice, like the knockout, the mighty bow when that blitzes, it's just because it's being used, and that means you at least have broken armor. So, like, you're technically within range from here, right? Like, I don't want to be sitting here, but you can technically score from here, so you don't need to go that much further. And on a 2+, you don't actually need to do much in relation to like being able to sneak past or through or anything like that. I like that placement there. I do not like the splitting of the team so much here. But with the level of attrition that's been given here, I think it's that's bad. That's really smart, I think. And he's most likely going to try to dodge out in a second here, right? That is important.
The bigger they are, the thicker they
Because
tend to be.
this would have tied up this guy, which now is not tied up. And that means he's free to roam. And he will most likely go over to where the fun is. I just use my blitz to free this guy up. And then have everything over here. Max pressure. Like, how many turns do you want to drag it out for? So the problem is over here, like, this frees up everything over here. I think Snowtroll here is not really able to get to the ball itself as much as he just needs to apply pressure that he needs to score earlier. Which this... Yeah, I would have... Clean POW, if that goes to removal, it's probably not. No. No. But it's an armor break. Interesting. That is interesting. The question is almost over here. Like, do you... Yeah, you need to use this one to free this one up. Oh, you can't reroll. Wow, reroll that. Okay. Down. Huh. Yeah, exactly. That's why I wouldn't use it.
He's standing there, drooling.
A croc's off.
He's close. Will it make a difference?
Now, if this would have been over here, at least this guy would have been free to roam next turn. This guy's probably going to go over here and reattach itself. Yeah, you're going to push it up here. Not necessarily the only option, right? Here. We know go behind back again? Okay, we're going to go back into the field. Maybe. I don't know. Interesting. I'm not a huge fan of this not getting my players into place before rolling random dice, but that's... But on the other hand, I get to see where it goes. Take the risk. Get to see where everything goes first. More or less have to take... No, just take this and walk away. Wow, we're going for the skink. Interesting. It's definitely a different way than I would have played. But then again, I am probably played like a 10th of the amount of Lizardmen matches like these guys have, so take that with a grain of salt. Shoving Saurus. Yeah, that I do like. A bit late in the process, but I do like that. At least we captured this one. Though we didn't capture this one, which I think is really interesting that we didn't poke this one. So I really don't see this as the threat as much as this one. Probably won't see Snowtroll being using that last reroll for anything other than... Did we not follow? Okay, yeah. No, I don't. Okay, you get it down there, yeah. That is... makes it okay for me. Oh, that's a good question. You definitely do know one of these two, but which one? Yeah, I think that's the right choice. Don't want to give away the punch to this guy. Like, unless you want to go and like do a desperate move, which is attacking this one, and then pin that one and being like, yeah, you're not getting rid of me. But it's 2+ and rerolls are plenty at the point.
And they start the turn in trouble.
So if we look at the attrition level, right? One source down. One source down. Everything chaos is expected to be coming back, right? But Zenjo has not used his APOC. Another KO. Wow. It feels like those sources forgot their armor in the changing room for sure. And we're up to the point where it's like, this is hurting. Maybe also be hurting next half. Go party over here. Yep. Yep. this is with the red and blue, right? But I still find it hard to see who's is on what side team here. Oh.
You can't argue with that call.
Well, you got 4 rerolls, so might as well at this point, right? It's a 2+, so as much as it's annoying. Yeah, what do you do? There's not really stopping that touchdown there. So
They may be fast, but once you grab these bozos, you can usually strangle them easily enough.
I might have been greedy and gone for, say, taking one here, blitzed in there.
A good coach always uses the right player for the right job.
They're gathering around that lone player. Halflings round
Of course, why not? Now everything is tits up, and I won, of course. Or just need static KOs or something. Nope. Nope, it's not that mean after all. 4 reels, 3 axes. How greedy we get? Yeah, that is some. Let's hope it's a game of 2 halves, right? Where the dice swings a bit the other way. Otherwise, it's going to be definitely an uphill experience. Going for the most likely because of movement limitations, right? 3 dice, get the pound, get the tackle. We get the armor break. And we get the injury, of course. It's actually not so important because the bench length, but the sources are really going to be needed for next half. Yeah, you got to score. Yeah, as much as it's like great central, but it's like a 1 in 6.
It's a touchdown.
Yep. Congratulations. Half the sources returned. Now, one of the first crucial matters is 14-10. So it's 10 Sauruses and friends versus 11. Are we going to see a 1-turn touchdown or are we not? I was about to say, I don't remember this. Oh, it's starting to look more like something I recognize. For a. It's starting to look a lot like something I seen as I know 1-turn touchdown approach. Yeah. We're getting there. Now it's a question of which ones do you want to protect? Yeah. Yeah. It's very familiar to something I use. The only difference is that something like this can really muck about and where things go, right? I wouldn't take the chance, but if you get this player in here, it gets a lot easier to just push it out. But this is the gotisk knude. I'm just missing the English word for that. It's not a Gothic knot or something like that. This is the math that needs to be solved for. If you can do that, you can get your touchdown. It's definitely possible to make a one-turn touchdown from this. Not easy, but it is possible. Of course, also Nuffle permitting, which is, I think, is going to be a huge factor in how this goes. A little bit of a swapping around. Well, that looks right to me. Where are you going to put the crux, though? That's one way of curing the crux problem. Definitely interesting to see here. Yeah. Yeah. Be definitely interesting to see how this works. I can see the outline of what's probably going to be tried for. Oh. And a high kick. Well, that sort of neutralizes itself then.
Forget the ball. Just try dishing out a few whacks.
One square short. That's annoying. It's still possible. Not easy, but possible. So far, so good.
That's quite a few of the opposition
Uh-huh.
surrounding that player. They need to be very careful.
Yep. So far, so good. Now, depending on what we roll here.
That's a good choice for this spot.
Wow. Single die, we get it.
I'll just squash him next time.
So far, so good. We are in range. We just need to do a little bit of a throw handoff. Might as well. That's on the ball. Yep. This. Wow, that is close, but just without range.
Hey, I can sing. Did you know that, Jim?
God forbid now. Oh, really? Really?
No need to be like that. My life coach says I have a very deep and healthy.
Oh, with that, free. So just shy and reroll and just shy. Oh, clocks didn't catch.
But I'll let the viewers make up their own minds.
So close. So close.
Throws have been terrible.
Looks like that
Not that it was guaranteed that it would be a touchdown from there either, but
few of the killers have been revived. Ready to play again.
did the Soros fail? The Soros failed. That is important. But at least it is now 11 players versus 11 players. But it's 1 Saurus down versus 2 Saurus down. And one of those are not the baby. I think, however, there's a good chance that Snowtroll should at least be able to control the half enough that he gets the touchdown. I'm more worried about what level of attrition that we'll be looking at if this goes into overtime. Classic formation. Very classic formation. Let's see. Oh, we're going for an all or nothing approach. I like that. This being a FA Cup, and therefore everything gets fully washed away afterwards. There's no reason why not to sort of bring that on the field, I would say. At least it's not this guy who's missing. That would have been really bad. What is going on here? Is it the lack of plants? Yeah, the 4 sources versus 5 is definitely an issue here. Curious to what this is about, but we'll probably see in a second. On the ball. Super scheme. Brilliant coaching. Who gets? That assistant coach has been quite useful for Zenjo this match. Can I do naked blocking here? Then up here. Clean pow. Down here. Yep. Here. Yep. Liking it. That's removal. Wow! The UI slightly, but I think very dramatical effect here. Love that. But yeah, now I would actually consider using my APOC here. I would have a sour small for the whole drive. Da-da-dum. But no. But now we are almost on equal footings in regards to the sours.
The ball is in the player's hands.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably would have APOC too, Mark. I think for the like whole half more with that on the field. Also because it's guaranteed. Like if you re-roll injury, it has to be yeah, you lost the numerical advantage too, which is really not good. Also because you're down to 10 players. That's a lot of huddling there. Brave call. Wanna get the reward?
Get up or get off the
You
field.
know, it's gonna have to do that one, right? Yeah.
That'll help the player move without risk.
Probably getting that one placed over here. Would it not been maybe smart? So, Three Sauruses on the ground and one removed. That is not what you were hoping for as Zenjo as a opening turn. That's a lot of recovery. Yeah. Yep. I like it. I can see what you're doing, and I like it.
Bark in a thunderstorm.
Should you just take this one and down to this one over here? Just go like, I'm gonna cancel out everything you have. A little bit less aggressive, but I guarantee you a boot in this player's near future. Not a fan of this gap here.
Did you know bathroom facilities have only been built in modern stadia since the last decade? Before that, the waste was, well, actually, no one knows where it went.
I was just about to say, are we not gonna we're gonna not use the sharp boot instantly. We're gonna use the soft boot. And those Papysauruses, they're just not having their day, are they? Ow. Yeah, I'm punching you. I think that's called tit for tat. Yeah, no one here is just gonna have to eat. Not using my bug for that. Ooh, I like it. Bit greedy, but I like it. I think we can actually get away with it. Like that too. Now we just need to solve the skink issue. Yep. That is aggressive. But I like it.
More the merrier.
No, I would have. What are the odds that this one is forgotten? What happened there? Did I do something? I probably did something. Did we break the camera? Nope. Camera works fine. Yeah, I think that too. Just about there. But interested to see what happened here. Yeah. No, not what I've.
With that call, can you, Bob?
I would have fought this one. This is the threat there is right now, right?
If I had a gold crush
Put it in here, put
Seen
it
lying
back
on
in
the field during
there.
my career.
File.
Well, I could start my own team. You only need 1,000,000 gold, right?
The interesting thing is, right, those are KOs, they can actually come back. Nuffle will swing with those quite heavily though, but bring those back. Oh, I think someone didn't see the... What is... Oh, it's a rush. Oh, it's a rush. No, 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 no. I missed that. I thought it was Dutch. No, 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 no. To clear the path for the... Yeah. Very aggressive. Very demure. I'm happy with that. If maybe I just get those away, right?
Were you much of a runner in the field?
Absolutely not, chum. I stood on the line of scrimmage and my victims, rival
Bring over here,
players
maybe?
came to me.
Are we gonna... Wow. Skink fight the Saurus here. Is that what we're doing? That is brave and rewarded well, I would say.
How are they going to catch or run with a ball if they're constantly writhing around on the ground?
And another one. We get full value for our money. Wow. Yeah, do we want to poke our head into that viper's nest? And I'm upgrade. Wow. Nuffle is saying I like it. Wow. Yeah, that is that is a rough turn for Snowtroll to dig yourself out of. I don't think forward here is the right. Yeah, there's definitely things I would have done differently here for me, but I can sort of see what's going, like what's the battle plan is and what's been going for, but I'd be interested to see if Snowtroll opts to go forward or backwards, right? Like, what is his timetable looking like? Because it is going to be rough going forward. It's not impossible, but it's rough.
Always uses the right player for the right job.
Huge fan of that. We single dice for what? Are we gonna...
Pretty risky action, Bob.
I'm sensing a, lack of a better word, a level of desperation, yeah, that I am not a fan of.
Unity is strength.
I
Now his buddy can move freely.
what are we going for here? We are going for... This one, that one, no. I think this, yeah, I think this turn is gonna be costly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, what's going on in here? A pass that failed into 2 dark zones. Yeah. Yeah. This... Phew. I think this is the turn that is going to be turning the tide. This... Yeah, massive. Massive. I don't think... I think that is also very brave, but that's just me. But no, it's not the Cox. Sorry, misread. But
The coach will be spitting teeth about this.
I think this is going to be really hard for Snowtroll to recover from. Like, he definitely needs a bit of Nuffle's magic on his side, and it just seems to not be happening at the moment. Yeah, and another removal. Yeah, no, that's a key player. It's almost this point, like, do you take the Crocs and just try to free dice that Saurus? Don't like this. It's an unnecessarily 1 in 9. Either you go for the skinks that push or 2 dice. Yeah. That is probably... Oh, and a removal. Wow. Yeah, that's probably game. Like, Snowtroll needs a huge Nuffle swing here in a second if this is gonna...
Well done. You have the ball now.
Yeah. Yeah. That is bad. Bad mojo. Yeah. This attrition. The best news in this for Snowtroll is he might see this one again. And that's really sad statement, right? That's because, like... Oh...
There's only one word
Yeah.
to say about this ball.
Not a word, Jim. A sound. Crunch.
That's a move of frustration, that one there. Haven't we all been there? Cursing, yeah. This is just throwing spaghetti at the wall, seeing what happens and what works.
Attempted a dodge, but a spectacular diving tackle.
Wow!
Well, at least they're not dead.
Of course. I would almost put it this way, it was worth it. Well, the APOC gets used, of course. The only thing that I don't like is that all this is still not been used. Like, I actually don't have so much the desperate move here, but the not getting things into place before that, I think is probably going to end up costing game more than anything. Because from here, there's no recovery.
How's the missus, Bob?
Ex-Mrs. Jim. But that don't mean I misses her. She took everything.
Yeah, it's just compounding an issue that's already...
Gut plate. The cow.
Right. And another removal. Oh my goodness. Huh? Just stunned. Only stunned. Okay.
Worms or something. I should probably say something meaningful to all our Cabal Vision viewers. All I can think of is splat.
Yeah, I definitely think fortune favors the brave here. I definitely think that.
Ah, we called that
Yeah.
Ruffles Kiss.
And I think like even with that bad luck, like if Snowtroll had just pulled these ones in right, this could have at least been a chance for next turn. But like there's no turn out of this. And I actually think with a little bit of like dodging out here and going in from here, you could have a single dice on the ball
They
carrier.
must have glue on their fingers.
But yeah, right now everything is just going Zenjo's way. Whether it's picking up the ball now here or... I think most likely there's a good chance that we'll see a soft concede from
I think he's going
well,
to make him
that depends on... That's not exactly a smart move. We'll see. This allows the crocs to go in here. Not that I think it will magically solve everything, but at least it opens up.
That's a good choice for this play.
Waste not. Yep. Yeah. We're back to this thing like what you're supposed to do at this
Hasn't that
point.
made him sent off, Bob?
Yeah, that was before Rev.
It's like, yeah, finally I got some luck. The Snowtroll, and it's like, but it's not luck that really matters. Yay! A little bit too little, a little too late. Like, Zenjo should be able to close it from here. Yeah, I think I can't blame him. I would be frustrated at this point. So it's much easier to be sitting and commenting on the sideline and having no emotions invested in the game, right? And not having any tilt on you that you can make clear a decision, right? But like, if this been me, I'd be throwing my keyboard and laptop at the wall, right?
Time for some blood bowl.
Because I don't think Snowtroll have been making terrible decisions. Like, sure, I think we all have forgotten a player or two, right? But like, it's just been like small details that kept us just creeping in, not going in this direction, and just not capitalizing on the right things. But yeah. Hello, Skink. Forgot us? No? Well, we didn't. And another removal. Is that... Oh, yes, of course.
Asleep, and maybe we will see him on the pitch later.
I think it seems like Snowtroll's team forgot to bring on the armor value. Just really... Yeah. Like, what do you do at this point? Try to kill this one? Just for... I think it makes no sense. Like... Of course not. Of course not. Just because I can doesn't mean you can. Though I would say that breath has not been
Very risky play.
not really been doing much work today.
Surrounded by...
Did he just dodge in there?
I hope he knows what he's doing.
Wow! I love the brazenness of it.
Now the ball carrier is free to
That is...
Another player on the ground.
Yeah, you must. You just take the touchdown just to cement it here, don't you? Yeah, I think definitely like small, just small things going in Zenjo's way, just making those decisions that just benefited, taking a little bit more of a gamble, and been handsomely rewarded for it those times when it's been done. And I think when Snowtroll will look back on that turn, what was it, 10, 11, where he had the option to either back down and go a little bit backwards or go forward, he will regret not going backwards. That he tried to push so hard to go forward that turn. Because that really cemented the downfall. Not sure that he would have been able to creep out of the slow stranglehold of Zenjo, but that really did cement it. But yeah. I think this is at this territory for a soft, if not a full receipt. Yeah, it's been a real bloodbath. Yeah, Moose. This is after recovery rolls for KO has been made. It just seemed like one of those matches where Nuffle didn't really like the Sauruses, so they just crumbled for anything. And since Zenjo got to do the punching and maiming first, just swung the game that way basically. And Snowtroll sort of got trapped in the classic that you get to a point where it's sort of like you need to make a move to make something happen, and then you get punished for making that move, and so it becomes a little too. Oh, just put salt in that wound, won't you, Nuffle? I think that's the old thing goes, fool. Great minds think alike, and fools seldom differ. Oh, Jesus Christ, Nuffle. That is just being mean. Oh yeah, I love Lizardmen for many things, but one of the things I really don't like about Lizardmen is yeah, sort of concede here. That's perfect. Right. It's that it is like you live and die by those 6 hours. And just one is swinging. It is huge, right? At least to begin with, it was fairly tit for tat on the Saurus front, but then you just really quickly sort of got a hit on it, and from there on there was no real coming back. So commiseration, Snowtroll. I guess the good news is at least this time it wasn't me who kicked you out, and you made it all the way to the semifinal. But yeah, Nuffle was definitely not kind here. And congratulations. Yep.
Can I just say well done, Zenjo? He played well. You have to get the. Unfortunately, you have to deal with the hand you're given, and I was given a pile of shit.
Oh yes, at least to beginning with, it looked very much like Nuffle had just decided that clearly that baby Sauruses was not liked and should not be on the field. They were just. And at least to begin with, it was sort of fair, and then just like a few of them in chat also mentioned, like once you start losing Sauruses, and not just one but 2 and 3, like it really quickly snowballs, and it's like it becomes really hard to play Lizardmen then.
It was difficult because all of the KOs were injuries because my KOs weren't coming back either. So and then I think the double skulls on the line against a skink was that game framed, really, wasn't it? It was just like you could almost predict that was going to happen. I was actually expecting Zenjo to get a blitz actually in that last turn because I thought that would have kind of probably summed up the entire way the game went.
Yeah, but I think the solid defense into a snake was also pretty spot on.
Yeah. It just everything went against me. I mean, the one turner, he defended against the one turner very well, but I still had a chance to do it. Then the kick went his way. I think he won every kickoff, didn't he? He got the positive result on every kickoff. And of the losses, I mean, you can handle it. You lose a couple of Sauruses, you can still do it. I did it in a game a couple of matches back. where I still came back and hung in and turned the game around from 1-0 down to 2-1. But the problem you've got is you need to start getting some of that damage back, and I couldn't. Every time I hit him, I was just pushing him around. I wasn't doing the damage back really, and it just wasn't enough. And I think if I could have maybe reduced second half, if I reduced him, I got a 2-3 man advantage, similar to what he did to me in the first half, then I could have made a game of it. But at the end, I was just like, just doing crazy shit like dodging Sauruses in the tackle zones and 2 dice upkillers.
But of course succeeded, of course, because it was like that's what you usually see, right? Dodging Sauruses in past Cruxicles into cages, like that. But it's like when you got your luck, it was just not at the points where you really needed it, and when you couldn't get your luck, it was like that's the point when I needed that, right?
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's frustrating sometimes. Blood Bowl and stuff like that.
Oh, it definitely.
You have to take the blows, don't you? It's like everyone gets games like that. And to be fair to me, I play in 2 leagues. I'm playing 3 teams in 2 leagues, and I've not had a game like that for about 20 games. So I can't really complain. There was a little part of me that was thinking, "I'm due one," and it came tonight, unfortunately. But Zenjo played well. I mean, he took his chance. Very organised. As soon as I started going players down, he used that to advantage. He pinned the remaining Sauruses down very quickly using his numbers advantage. Yeah. And, I hope he does well in the final. I hope he beats you in the final. No disrespect, Archangel, but it'd be nice to see.
I will be honest. I almost feel like I should just lose to him because I really want someone from Hells to win the cup. That would be amazing.
And it's my league, of course, as well, so I'll be supporting him now.
Yes. Double.
I know, I've got to do a 2-0 admin for Zenjo tonight, so I think I'm just going to cripple his team for his next game. I'll put loads of injuries on.
Well, we had a chat about that before with chat, and it was like, yep, that seems fair almost.
But I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter at all.
No. I think though, if at least we talked about this with chat, I think in second half, I'll just skip forward to it. I don't know if you can see my screen here, but like I think it's like around here, the turn before here, like this turn here, I think is the turn.
Yeah.
Where
he gets the 1 dice with the Saurus, and stuns him.
I think I don't know. I think it's the turn after. I think this is where I think if you'd gone back here instead of trying to push forward, I think you would have gotten a much better way with it than trying to push forward here. That's the only decision where it's like, I was mentioning this before, you said like, this will probably determine the game. Whether you go forward or go backward here is going to determine the game. If you get forward and you get away with it, you are in much better water. It's going to be very difficult. If you go back, it's going to be difficult, but at least I see a path at least to a draw in standard time. So, but
that's fair comment. I think what happened there to me at that stage was I think he'd done one of his many 1 dice blocks in the game.
There's a lot of 1 turns dice here.
I was expecting one of those to fail there. I realised I'd left him a couple of 1 dice blocks, but I think one of them was against a block Saurus with a Saurus that didn't have block. So I thought that he might get a push out of that, so that's fine. And then I figured he could have a good go at a 1 dice with me with the 3 skinks as well. Again, none of them having block. So I figured at least one of those would fail. But when he put the first Saurus down and then stun, and that was the key thing, stunning the second Saurus. Yeah. Because at that stage, if he hadn't have stunned the Saurus that he pushed up against the sideline, that would have been an up with the Saurus blitz. And I was in a potential there where I could have got the ball, albeit risky, to my guy that could have run it into the end zone. And I was looking to score a quick touchdown to try and get the KOs back. And then either hold out for the draw or try and sneak it, because usually in these types of games, you get a dice change at some point during the game. And I'm thinking, if I can get a quick touchdown and I kick to him, I get a blitz, suddenly, games change. So, I could have pulled back. The other thing about pulling back was that I figured, I could pull back, but then I've got 4 skinks against an army of Sauruses because I haven't got anything left there to pull back with other than that. And I thought, I could have got deeper and held it off, but I had nothing left to pull back with really other than a couple of skinks. And it was like, I figured at that stage, let's just go for it and see what we can do. So there you go.
I've at least this was what Chad and I was sort of agreeing on. Is it's one of those where you go down to, you have to make something happen. Like, you can't just sit and wait all the turns, right? So is this the turn where we, like, this is where we try to make a move forward? Like, you are at this point just slightly behind, I would say, but so you needed to make something happen, and you chose this time to do it, and it could have panned, but it is probably the most crucial turn of the match.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and it was completely risky. But by that stage, I think the problem I was having by that stage was that my dice was so poor, I couldn't do anything anyway. And I thought, well, I may as well start trying some risky stuff, because the stuff that should work is failing. So, and sometimes in those games, I found it. I've seen recall a game against you where I did that, where you sometimes you try the risky stuff and that works when you fail and stuff. So I think it was by that point as well. I think the one dice where he stunned my Saurus, and my wife will back me up on this. I think I let a bit of negative energy out of the screen. Let's just say we're not going to detail yet. I just couldn't believe it was the stun. It was the stun, I think. Oh, and then I followed up with both down on the Croxagon on my next action. And the next day I was like, oh dear.
Yeah.
And I got away with a reroll on that, but that burnt my last reroll as well. So
yeah.
So there you go. It was. I would like to say it was fun. It was better than not.
I seem to remember I finally played against the Galantia where it was sort of the same thing. Like, I always ended up having like to do a desperate throw with orcs. Like, it's not like unreasonable to do, right? But it's just like, you don't want to have to be doing that situation also, because I knew if that throw failed, it was basically giving him the second and third touchdown. That would basically close out the match, right? But when you get into that situation where you need to make a play, because you can also see if I don't make something, and we just keep in this trajectory that we're already on, there's no way for me to win this match, right?
This is exactly my thinking there.
Yeah. And at this point here, this is just basically clean up the match.
Done,
yeah.
I considered just kind of ending my turn at that point, but I thought, no, I'm going to foul a couple of those skins.
I want moral restitution. I want some payback for the pain and suffering that we're suffering. Yeah, that seems perfectly fine. But yes, I can see Zenjo is in chat, and says that he hasn't learned yet how to do Discord voice, so he won't be joining us.
No problem. I'll send him a message in a second, and promise to not destroy his team in Baron Hills.
Well, I think that might reduce his odds of having much luck in the final if his team has been crippled. So I would prefer not to.
I'll leave him alone until the end of the season. Yeah, that's fair.
At least wait till after his FA Cup final, and then you can do it. Seems only fair.
Sure, I can do that.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to get it off, Archangel. Brilliant that. It was a lot of fun having the stream there and doing that kind of thing. That was good.
Likewise. So, and commiserations to use.
No problem. It happens.
Yeah.
You've been playing this game for a lot of years. You've got to roll with the blows.
Yes. And very much congratulations to Zenjo. You played a really good match and definitely waved the flag for the hills very well and proudly. So that is always amazing. And to everyone else, thank you for watching, and we'll probably see you next time in the final. Bye-bye for now.